Just to clear something up and out of the way, this video is not exactly meant to be somber. Uploading it on the anniversary of such an unfortunate day may seem disrespectful, and I understand why. But this video isn't meant as a commemoration of the day we lost Kobe, but a celebration of everything he did during his time on our planet. I put a lot of thought and time into this video compared to most of my other ones, and it wouldn't feel right to talk about anyone but Kobe on a day like today. With all that said, please enjoy. So growing up, I wasn't really an athletic kid. I wasn't the biggest fan of sports, because being the smallest kid playing, especially at a young age when kids were more rough, meant I almost always got hurt whenever I joined in. It took me a long time to really get into sports, and even longer to start playing basketball. I didn't play basketball on an organized team for the first time until I was 10 years old. I had a hoop since I was 8, but up until age 10, I only played recreationally. And even then, it was just because my mom wanted me to get more active into sports, so she made me sign up for one. So thanks, Mom. I wouldn't be in this spot recording audio instead of doing my homework if it weren't for you. Makes you think. Anyways, you can imagine I was pretty awful at first. But two things happened in basketball that never happened to me in any other sport. For one, I had an amazing first coach who had no other goal but to instill a love of the game into his players. And two, I quickly improved, which I wasn't used to seeing in anything outside of the classroom. That may sound like I was just looking for whatever was easiest to get a hang of, but let me explain. At the time, I was in middle school, which shouldn't need any further explanation. My middle school years sucked for reasons I'll save for another video. But in my state of generally being bummed out a lot, I started trying to find something I had a natural talent at to use as an outlet and to pursue. I tried soccer, but that just wasn't it. I was good at math and science, but they both bored me. And then I found basketball. I started playing and applying myself, and I immediately saw my shot and my handle improve. My defense, my passing, not so much. But most of all, my understanding of the game improved exponentially. And certain parts of the game clicking in my head and carrying that onto the court was the best feeling. I'd found something I loved, and something that I at least felt like I was talented at, even though at the time I still sucked. But I still wasn't sure. I did some research and I found him. Even though this was like 2013, 2014 Kobe, after his Achilles injury, I was still mesmerized by the way he played and his natural ability to score the ball. His fadeaway, his footwork, his sheer ability to make whatever the hell he wanted. And of course his fire, his world-famous mamba mentality. That was easily the most important thing I learned from Kobe. If only I could be like him was the first thing I thought. Especially since I was the worst kid on the team, and everyone made fun of how embarrassingly bad I was, for the most part anyway. It drove me to work myself into the ground and improve. Some kids were nice and showed me the ropes and some moves to add to my bag, and I'll always respect them for treating me as an equal, even though at the time I was far from it. Back to the main point, Kobe was a goal for me to shoot for. Along with spite and a love for the game, Kobe was one of my main motivations to become the best basketball player I could be. So from the time I was about 11 to this very day, I worked myself and pushed myself harder in the sport than I had in anything else in my life. Along the way, I realized I wasn't as good as I thought, and there was more to the game than I was first able to see. I had a solid jump shot, a decent handle, and solid decision-making skills, but that's all there was to me. I couldn't finish inside, I couldn't defend, there was no athleticism to me, my passes were basic and just okay at best, but I never got discouraged. I watched his highlights when I was down, when I felt like I wasn't good enough, when I needed something to shoot for. Eventually, maybe a year after his retirement, I started wanting to develop my own identity as a player, rather than become a full-on Kobe replica. Believed at the time he'd be 5'6" at best. I was maybe, that would be like 2017. I was just entering high school at that point, so I was about 4'11" maybe. All the athleticism in the world would never get me as high as him, and I needed to start working towards my strength, as well as building new ones. I started basing my game more off guys like Kemba Walker and Kyrie Irving, mostly Kemba nowadays, and my performance on the court didn't see much improvement at first, to be completely honest. I didn't think I'd ever be good enough, but as soon as I started having confidence in myself and my abilities, my performance skyrocketed, and I haven't looked back. I think I'm a pretty good player right now. Still nowhere near as good as I want to get, but I think I'm on the right path. I've developed greater strength, which stopped me from sustaining as many injuries, something that was common when I started playing a lot. Most of them were minor tweaks and things of that nature. I've also had a few serious strains and misaligned my hip. I'm happy to say I haven't had a serious injury in over a year, and and I've started developing some decent athleticism. When I started, I was slow, had little stamina, credit card hops, classic white boy hooper. Now I'm in the best shape of my life. I've gained some serious speed, thanks in part to taking up track on the side, and I've got a max running vertical near 35 inches. Still not dunking, that's a bit tricky for someone my size, about 5'7", 5'8", but it's my goal to get there hopefully before the summer. What I'm getting at is, without a combination of different factors, I wouldn't be where I am today. I have my mom, coaches, friends, and in an insignificant way that seems straight up weird to most people, Kobe Bryant for where I am today. If you guys have your own Kobe stories, I'd love to hear them. Today is a day to celebrate what he did for every one of us, so don't hesitate to share. Thank you, Kobe. Thanks to you for sitting through my probably boring story. If you stayed this long, I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.
What can I say? Mamba out.